In 2008, October 25th, 10 days after my son was born, I had a cardiac dissection. And I basically had a heart attack on my living room floor. So it has been a rough couple of years. I was in the hospital actually a few days before that because I could not breathe very well. And they thought that I was having a cardiomyopathy. They were not quite sure what was wrong, so they went ahead and gave me some medication. They thought they had helped me, sent me home, and then almost exactly 24 hours later, I ended up having a heart attack. And then I had to have open heart surgery, and I had a triple bypass and 3 stents put in. So, and last January I had to get a pacemaker defibrillator. Before this happened, I never realized, and a lot of women don't, I never realized that this could happen to me. And I never realized that someone who is perfectly healthy and who has just had a baby, that this could happen to them. This has affected my family in so many ways. There are certain things that I cannot do with my son that I could do with my daughter when she was his age. It took me, 1.5, almost 2 years before I could actually fully play with my daughter to get my energy level back to where it was. And it's still not back to where it was. It's affected probably all of the women in my family, because a lot of the women, especially my cousins and stuff, they're like, wow, I never realized that could happen to you. And it just really shocked our whole family, and it has really opened everyone's eyes about, what could happen to you. And I make sure to tell them, okay, if you're pregnant, you need to take care of yourself. If something is wrong, you need to inform somebody, because it's not just pregnancy issues, it could be something else. This can happen to a pregnant woman just as much as it could a woman who's 50. I went to the dentist not too long ago, and I had told them that I couldn't have the x-rays done, and the woman asked me why. So I shared my story with her, and I had her in tears. And she said, I never realized that could happen to you. And I said, yeah, you really need to just be aware of your body. And she actually ended up going and telling the women in the office. And the same thing happened when I had to go to immediate care because I was sick one day, and they were asking me, why do you take this medication? You're so young. And I told her, and she ended up sharing my story with the women in there. I have shared my story with women in waiting rooms. I did the heart walk. I shared, every woman in my family knows my story. And I really, really want to make women aware that this is not just an issue for men. This is something for women that we have to take care of. We have to look out for each other. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You need to be aware of yourself and your feelings and what is going on. Because if you don't, nobody's gonna know. But of course, hopefully through my story, being so young, I can teach other women and help other women.